His name was Ben. He worked the night shift. He worked in a small old office building. Tonight, like most nights, he was alone. The clock on the wall ticked loudly. It was 10 minutes past midnight. Ben sighed and sipped his coffee. The coffee was cold. The night was just starting. He had many hours to go. The building was always quiet at night. Too quiet sometimes. During the day, phones rang. People talked and laughed. Keyboards clicked and clacked. But at night, there was only silence. A deep, heavy silence. Ben usually did not mind it. He could get his work done. He could think his own thoughts. But tonight, the silence felt different. It felt heavier than usual. It pressed in on him, from all sides, like a thick, dark blanket. He tried to ignore the feeling. He turned on some music, softly so he could still hear. Hear what? He did not know, but he wanted to be alert. Ben had paperwork to finish. He spread the papers on his desk. He picked up his pen. He tried to focus on the numbers and the words. But his eyes kept moving, glancing at the dark windows, looking down the empty hallway. He felt a small knot in his stomach. It was just another night, he told himself. Then he heard something. A small sound. A soft scratching. It seemed to come from far away, down the main corridor. Ben froze. He held his breath. He listened very carefully. Was it just the building settling, or the wind outside? The sound came again. Scratch, scratch, scrape. It was a little louder this time. Definitely not the wind. It sounded like something was being dragged across the floor. Ben's heart began to beat faster. His palms felt a little sweaty. No one else should be here. He was sure he had locked all the doors. He stood up slowly. His chair made a small squeak. The squeak sounded very loud, in the otherwise silent building. He wanted to call out, "Is anyone there?" But the words stuck in his throat. Fear was a cold hand, gripping his chest tightly. He did not want to know what made the sound. He told himself to be calm. It was probably just a mouse. Or maybe some papers fell from a high shelf. But the sound was too heavy for that. It was a dragging sound, a deliberate sound. He swallowed hard. He knew he had to check. It was his job to check. Ben grabbed the big flashlight, the one they kept for emergencies. Its metal body felt cold in his hand. His hand was shaking a little. He took a deep breath. He stepped out of his small office, into the long, dark hallway. The only light came from his flashlight. It cut a bright circle in the darkness. The shadows danced around him. He walked slowly. His footsteps echoed eerily. Tap, tap, tap on the tiled floor. Each step took him further from safety, further into the unknown. The scratching sound had stopped. Now there was only silence again. But this silence was worse. It felt like something was waiting, holding its breath, just like him. He reached the end of the corridor. This was where the sound had come from, a row of storage rooms. The doors were all closed. He pointed his flashlight at each one. Nothing seemed out of place. Then he saw it. One door was slightly open, just a crack. He was sure he had locked that door. A cold draft swept through the hall. It made the hairs on his arms stand up. It was a strange cold, not like an open window, more like a cold spot in the air. He pushed the door open wider. His heart pounded in his chest. The room was empty, but on the floor, he saw marks, long, thin scratch marks on the dusty tiles. Ben did not go into the room. He backed away slowly. He turned and walked quickly. Then he started to run, back to his office. He slammed his office door shut. He locked it. He leaned against the door, breathing fast and hard. His mind was racing. What was that? He stayed in his locked office for the rest of the long night. He did not do any more work. He just sat at his desk, staring at the closed door, listening for any sound. The scratching did not come back. The building remained silent, but it was not a peaceful silence. It was a watchful, waiting silence. When the first light of morning came, peeking through the window blinds, Ben felt a little bit of relief. The building seemed normal again. The sun made the shadows go away. He unlocked his office door. He looked down the long hallway. Everything was still. The storage room door was still ajar. The scratch marks were still there. Ben packed his things quickly. He left before anyone else arrived. He never found out what made the sounds, or why the door was open, or what made those marks. Was it a person, an animal, or was it something else? Something from the shadows? He did not know, and he never wanted to be alone there at night again.